Hello everyone, this is Katie Jo with the Soil Bar, and today I thought I would just go over with you a few of the key soil amendments that we use here at the Soil Bar. So let's just get into it. Oh, and if you also wouldn't mind, please like and subscribe to the channel. This is a new YouTube channel, so we would really appreciate the support. So let's go through what we've got here one by one. This is only about half of what we've got. We use a lot of different things, but I thought I'd just pull out some of the key ones to show you guys and explain a little bit briefly about their benefits. So first off, we've got Cococore. So Cococore is a base of a lot of our potting mixes that we use. Most other commercial potting mixes will use peat, peat moss, and the reason why this is far superior, Cococore is far superior, is because of its water retaining qualities. It is pH neutral, unlike peat moss, and it is also much more ethically sourced, because peat moss is mined and comes from peat bogs, and it's actually hydrophilic, meaning that it repels water. That's how the peat bogs kind of float on the top of the surface. So it's actually not ideal. They have to add different components to that peat moss that help force it to absorb water. But once that water dries out, you'll notice with your potting mixes, like your Miracle-Gro and that kind of thing, if you notice that when you pour in the water, it's not really absorbing and it just kind of goes out and down the sides, that's probably because you've got a peat base mixed and it's lost its water retaining capacity. So you really have to like squeeze it in there and it just doesn't work. As opposed to Cococore, as you can see, is nice and light and fluffy. It's airy, and if you put water on this, it wants the water. It's not hydrophobic like peat moss is. So that's what Cococore is. It's an excellent base material. And it also, it's not an organic material like traditional dirt or soil, so you're not going to have a problem with pests. You can use it as almost like a soilless based potting mix. Next one here, everyone knows this. If you've ever seen those little white specks in potting mix, you think like, oh, that's styrofoam. It's not. It's actually perlite. And perlite is a product that comes from volcanoes. It's actually very similar in composition to glass, believe it or not. But as you can see here, it's like popping, and it looks almost like popcorn. It's very lightweight, and it's cost effective. And what this essentially does is you mix that with your Cococore or any of your potting mixes, and it just helps keep the soil light and fluffy and well aerated. So it helps with drainage. It decreases your risk of your soil compacting. So this is an important ingredient that we use here at the Soil Bar. However, there are some drawbacks to it. Like if you can see here, I'll press this between my fingers and it breaks down into a powder. So it eventually over time, it's going to become a problem in your soil if that's all that you have in there. That's the only thing that's breaking it up and keeping your soil nice and airy. It also, because of its lightweightness, it will eventually float up to the top. If you're watering your houseplants, you'll see it eventually work its way up to the top of the soil, and then you've got the same problem you had when you started with, where your soil is going to begin to compact. So at the Soil Bar here, we use a mixture of perlite and this is pumice. Pumice is an amazing additive that has the same key benefits of perlite, but it's just better. It's lightweight. It can retain a little bit of water. When I squeeze it between my fingers, I can't break it. So you can use it again and again. If you want to, your soil's kind of, it needs to be rejuvenated, you can screen this out and put it in your new batch of soil. You can use this as a top dressing for your succulents. This is pumice. I cannot say enough good stuff about it. Volcanic rock is also what pumice is, and it has lots of little air pockets in here, and so it helps with aeration, like I said, and it also stays put in your soil. It's not going to float up to the top. So pumice. We put pumice basically in all of our mixes. Other traditional potting mixes, even if they're premium at the store, will not ever have this in it. I have never seen it at a store with pumice in it because of its price. It is rather costly for a big box store or a big company like Miracle-Gro to be putting that in any of their products. All right, next thing. This is diatom. So diatom, or some of you may know it as diatomaceous earth. You can get diatomaceous earth in lots of different forms. You can get it in a powder, a fine grain powder, and it's used, it has a lot of different applications. I know some people even eat it for different reasons, and it helps with deterring pests and bugs. But when it's larger granules like this, they're very lightweight. They can retain some water, and they are great also for breaking up your soil and keeping it nice and airy, and yet keeping a composition of a nice gritty mix. So we use diatom as an additive for our succulent mixes and our bonsai mixes. This is calcined clay, and calcined clay, or you may have heard it referred to as turfus. Very hard to get, very hard to come by right now because more and more people are being turned on to this product. And that is because calcined clay is a key ingredient for bonsai mix and succulent mix. It is a clay that's been heated in a very, very, very high heat setting, and then it expands and it allows the calcined clay to retain a little bit of water and moisture, and yet again keep your soil nice and fluffy. So the product turfus is sold and used in baseball fields, but calcined clay is its actual composition and the name of the product that they are using here. So that's what that is. And we would mix the calcined clay and the diatom and the pumice. We would mix those all together to make a nice gritty mix along with some other ingredients. So next we have neem powder. And neem powder, you've probably heard of neem oil. Neem oil is used to deter pests, and what we use neem powder for is we mix this into our RX potting mix, and that is for pest control. So if you're prone to having an issue with fungus gnats, or you just want to make sure you never have an issue with fungus gnats, or you have a plant that's recovering, you could repot them in our RX potting mix, and it will have some of this neem seed in it. And neem seed, like I said, is great as a pest deterrent. It's also a natural fertilizer, and it enriches the soil, and so that really encourages optimal plant development. And this has 6% nitrogen, 1% available phosphate, and 2% soluble potash or potassium. And so those are your NPK. Those are key ingredients that you need for a good fertilizer. So you mix this in, or you can use it as a little bit of a top dressing, and it is great for both for plant food and also deterring pests. All right, moving right along, we've got granite grit here. So granite grit is, as you can see, it's almost like coarse sand. Now, with succulent mixes and cacti mixes that you get at the big box store, all they're putting in there is like that play sand crap, which is the worst thing you can do. You don't want to put that in any of your potting mixes because it actually makes the soil compact. You want a gritty, sandy, like thicker, coarser product. So this is what you need. So this granite grit here, we add this for our succulent mix as well as some of our bonsai soils. And then we sift it to be a certain particle size. And with these larger chunks here, that helps with just breaking up the soil, breaking up the potting mix to allow better drainage. These are fir bark fines. If nothing else, the most important thing I think to realize with these is that they smell freaking delicious. It smells like an Aveda salon, or I don't know, it's just delicious. So these fines we have screened to be a certain particle size, and we'll mix those in with our bonsai mix. So and also you can mix them in with some of our other potting soils as well at different sizes. We use a larger, chunkier size for our tropical mixes, like our aroid mix, and that helps break up the soil. It also encourages the roots to really grow stronger because they have to move around the bark. You want to be careful with your ratio of bark though. I think my phone just talked to me. That's crazy. You want to be careful with your bark ratio though, because it can also leach away nutrients. All right, 2 left and then we're done. So we've got here some activated charcoal. Charcoal is an amazing, amazing product. It can absorb a tremendous amount of bacteria and other waste products that you don't want in your soil. So charcoal is a key ingredient like in fish filters, actually in a lot of filters, water filters. You'll use it in the base of a terrarium, so that way water, as it's cycling through, goes through the charcoal and it just cleans it and purifies it. So when you have chunky charcoal like this, it helps break up your soil a little bit, and it also just helps deter any chances of you ending up with, you know, root rot or different things. It's going to suck up any of those bacterial impurities. And then last one we have here, this stuff feels so cool. It's so fine green. This is rock dust, or you might hear it called azomite or volcanic ash. And what it is finely ground volcanic ash particles that during volcanic activity, that specific activity in the way that it churned up with the different nutrients in the water, it created this sediment that is then ground up into a fine powder that has macro and micronutrients at a very high level. So it makes for an amazing natural fertilizer. You can't put too much in your potting mix or your soil, or for your, if you're doing organic gardening, you can't burn your plant with it. All it's going to do over time is just improve your soil. So you can sprinkle about a half teaspoon for every inch or so of pot size onto the top as like a top dressing every month or so, and then just water it in. And I also add this as just a base ingredient to many of our potting mixes as we're mixing them up. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope that was informative, and please like and subscribe, and also check out our Etsy shop, The Soil Bar. I will put a link in the description below. Thank you so much, and have a great day.